Moving right along to the discussion board. Again, all of these tools, if you haven't clicked into your Blackboard course already, are readily available. But when you click on discussion board, it's going to be blank, right? The first thing you'll need to do as the instructor is click on create forum. Okay, so I'm going to create a sample course questions. That's the form that we talked about to advise your students to please post your general course questions here. If you have personal questions, please do not post, but email me instead. And then you can also include other tools for students. And I'm not going to type all of this for the sake of the recording, but for students, if you know the answer, please feel free to respond and so forth. You get the point. So you'll want to type your description of the question or post your question into this menu. This field here that I'm typing into is what we call the text editor. This is similar to Microsoft Word. It's your basic word processing space or document, if you will. You'll see a lot of the same features that you do in Word. You can bold, you can underscore, adjust fonts. They are minimal. For example, you can't go up to like 72 or anything like that, but you can go to 10 point to 14, and then you have your font adjustments. Again, I have to caution you about accessibility when you are using the text editor. You don't want to use bright colors that can be distracting. You want to, because if someone has visual impairment, it will be difficult, okay? You don't want to do any wild and crazy size fonts. So we do have best practices on our website with the tools, so you can refer to those, but you can also attach files. If you click on this paper clip, you can browse your computer and attach a file, typically wherever you see this text editor, and we'll create an item or file in just a moment. Your forum availability, by default it's yes. I would recommend leaving it selected to yes. If you want to set up discussion forums for the next 4 weeks, if you have your weekly questions, feel free to do that. Again, this is where your date and time restrictions are going to come into play. If you want to set it up for 2 weeks from now, type your question directly into this field, select display after, and select your date in the future, and it will release at that time. So another tip for you, if you want to block out several hours to set up or build your course for the next couple of weeks while you adjust, while your students adjust, that's going to be key. Because this is a course questions forum, I would not select any grading, but if you were creating this as a regular discussion question, then you would select the option to grade the discussion forum, enter your points, and once you submit this, it will automatically create a grade center column. So it sets it up automatically for you. Again, we do have a completely separate workshop on the discussion board because there are far too many features for me to ramble off to you guys right now. But the goal here is to instruct how to create this general course questions form. It does function the same if you want to dive in to start creating your discussions and follow along with the tutorials. This is what the discussion board interface looks like. Okay, so I'm going to submit. And this is what my course questions forum looks like. Oh, I accidentally restricted it by date. So I'm going to go back and edit. And I'm going to uncheck this because I want my course questions form to be readily available. And you can see how quickly I went in to edit that. So again, I highly recommend that everyone post a course questions form, which is a running FAQ that your students can post questions to and you can reply so that everyone in the class can see it. Doubling back to course content because I forgot. When you go into a content folder and you want to add your content, There are two ways that you may want to add, and again, I'll show you a fully developed course at the end, but creating an item is going to create, again, here's the text editor. If you wanted to copy and paste content, I am going to paste a quick tip that I was just working on for you guys. Okay. And my image didn't copy over from Word, and that's okay. But when you're creating an item, you'll post your content directly into the text editor. If you wanted to attach a file, so let's say, for example, you want to post your weekly unit objectives. You can type them 1 through 6 for your weekly learning goals. If you wanted to attach an article or a file or whatever you may have, you can browse your computer. Please refrain from posting copyrighted materials into your course. It's always best to provide a link or a web link directly to the source to avoid violating copywriting law.
No videos either.
And no videos. Yes, thank you, Scott. You'll also want to link directly to YouTube or link to your video sites. And again, that's another workshop we have on sharing or using videos to engage your students. And as you can see, just with the information that I'm sharing here, there's so many different options. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I do want to show you the basics today. Okay, so this is an item. You would post your content here in the box. The option to attach a file if necessary. If you want to attach a rubric, if you want to attach additional instructions, you can. Here's the standard options that you'll notice throughout Blackboard. Yes, it has to be checked to permit users if you want your students to see it. You can track number of views just in case you need it. And then I'm going to select submit. This is not something that I want to restrict by date. So your items will appear directly on the page. Okay. Now your files, okay, if you, this is a file, and I'm going to browse my computer really quickly. I'm going to attach a portion of my lit review because it's chapter 2 of my dissertation, just for ease of it. And then I recommend when you have files that you open in a new window. This is because, like, this chapter 2 is at least 40 pages. If you don't select open in a new window, Blackboard is going to open this file inside of the Blackboard interface. You can experience issues with slowness, extra load on our server that we don't need. So whenever you're uploading a file, you definitely want to open it in a new window. This additional option, leave the default, it doesn't really apply. Another disclaimer, if you are clicking through Blackboard and you see a lot of files, a lot of options such as this one, some of them are Blackboard tools that GSU may not have enabled. So if you're uncertain about something, just leave the default, don't mess with it. But I am directing you to a lot of the things that are pertinent to you. Again, yes, we want to permit users to view this content. Yes, we're going to track number of views. And no, I'm not going to restrict this by date, and I'm going to hit submit. This is what a file looks like. So as you can see, the difference between an item and a file, your item is going to display directly on the web page, and your file is going to be a clickable link. I will not open my chapter 2 on this recording. Okay, and then whenever you create or add something in Blackboard, you'll usually get a little message success. Worst case scenario, this bar will be red and it's going to say error with some jargon, and you're going to email us immediately, and we're probably going to either submit a ticket to Blackboard or reach out to our database administrator. But for the most part, you should receive a success message, and you can just hit that X and exit out of there. Okay, type any questions that you have about the difference between items and files here. If you post a file, you can click on it and delete. I'm going to remove my chapter 2 from this course. It was just the quickest file that I came to. So that's the difference. Now, also under build content, again, there are a lot of bells and whistles here. We've gone over a content folder. We've gone over learning module. We've gone over item and file. The other thing I'm going to show you how to create is a web link. So if you want to link to an external website, you would hover over build content, select web link. We're going to call this the Governor State homepage. This is just the first site that I can think of. Okay, www.gobst.edu. And again, leave this default tool providers, or if you're linking to, let's say, a publisher, whether it's Cengage or McGraw-Hill or something like that, you don't need to worry about that if you're linking to just a regular website. Again, you should always post some type of description if you can. Please visit the GSU website for COVID, I can't type, 19 updates, okay? Again, the option to attach files. So again, you're noticing a pattern whenever you add content. Blackboard gives you these same tools. So I'm just going to hit submit, and then you'll see a link, right? If I type that correctly, I was typing fast. When I click on this, it's going to launch the GSU homepage, okay? So I'm going to close out of that and go back. That success message again. I'm going to close out. So the common tools, again, item, file, web link, learning module, content folder. I do need to mention these. You'll see a syllabus option. That is the built-in Blackboard syllabus option. This is not the option that you want to use. That's what I mean by you'll see a lot of options in Blackboard that may not apply to you. So try to refrain from using this syllabus option. The mashups I will mention because you'll see them, but Blackboard is experiencing a slight issue with this feature at this time. We did have the ability to click on YouTube and quickly upload a video, but it's currently under revision or updating with Blackboard, the vendor, Blackboard Incorporated, so I won't go over that. Again, we do have, if you want to upload a YouTube video, and I am going to show you that because we are encouraging you to share them. I'm going to find a, okay, sorry, but I'm selecting this video.
Talk to me about your experiences when.
If you want to post a YouTube link, the quickest way is going to be to copy that URL, okay, and create a web link. And then you'll want to say, you'll want to notify your students that it is a video on COVID-19. You might even want to go as far as to say, watch me. You don't have to, but gauge your students, and then post a description, contains blah, 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 okay? These standard settings again, and select submit. So here's another web link that will launch YouTube. We do have a YouTube video which show a YouTube workshop which will show you how to embed videos into your courses so that there's a thumbnail that displays directly on your page. We won't go into details there today, but stay tuned and try to attend our upcoming YouTube workshop. We already have that presentation. We've hosted that workshop on the past fall semesters, and I plan to offer that again in the spring.